Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Fantastic Fermentations YouTube channel. Today we're going to be brewing a beer that is inspired by the TV show Stranger Things. So we're going to brew a New England IPA and we're going to make it black. So hang tight and I'm going to grab my ingredients. I'm going to show you some footage from the brew day, and then we're going to fast forward in time and see how this beer turns out. So now we're back, and since we've gone through all the brewing, now we have the beer here and it's ready to try. So before we dive into some tasting notes, I do want to talk a little bit about the process and a little bit about the recipe. First off, if you enjoyed it so far, don't forget, go down below and like and subscribe to this video. We're going to have way more stuff coming out in the coming weeks, so go ahead, like, subscribe, so that you'll be on the list to see everything when the new content comes out. Second of all, the beers that we make on this channel are all going to be featured on AtlanticBrewSupply.com. So you can always go to AtlanticBrewSupply.com, get the recipe from them, or if you're lucky enough to live in North Carolina, you can go to Atlantic Brew Supply, tell them that you saw the recipe on the channel, and they will get you a printout so that you can build the recipe yourself. So I actually started this channel in a kind of transitional period with my home brewery. I have just converted my house strain. I've decided to convert my house strain over to a Kvike strain. This one was brewed with a Kvike strain, and I have to say I am loving the Kvike yeast. It has taken a lot of time off of my brews. So like, for example, this beer from grain to glass took a little over a week. I did ferment this at 83 degrees. That is just the temperature that my garage was at for the 3 days it took for it to finish fermentation. So it took a lot of days off the fermentation. Then I just straight up dry hopped right after for 3 days and put it in a keg and it was ready to drink. So let's dive into some of the tasting notes. As you can see, the beer is pitch black. It's got a nice firm head. I think that's probably coming from all the flaked oats that are in here. It is not like your super cloudiest of cloudy beers. I did add Werflock to this to drop some of that out, just because I didn't want it to look murky. And because I figured if you've got a beer that's this color, if you've got it murky, then it probably wouldn't look appetizing. So I did drop some of that haze out, but as you can see, it still came out pitch black. And the head is a It's an off-white, whitish head, like a cream color head. Really good. On the nose, I get citrus, more leaning towards like an orange. I think that's coming from all the citra that's in here, and from the cryo citra that I use in the dry hop. I do get a little bit of kind of like piney resiny, but mostly it's mostly fruit. I do get a lot of citrus. So let's go into the flavor and let's see how it tastes. Now I will say this. One thing that I will change about this recipe is that I use too much Magnum in it to bitter it. This beer is it's a very firm bitterness, whereas in most like New England IPAs, there's a very soft bitterness to it, more accentuated to the fruity side of the hop flavors. I used an ounce of Magnum in here. I probably would use a half ounce next time, but I was expecting some lower utilization because I was using a hop basket, where usually I just dump the hops directly into my mash and boil. Since I went back to using my plate chiller, I have added the hop basket just so I can keep the hop particles out of the plate chiller, because if the hop particles get in the plate chiller, my plate chiller gets clogged. That makes for a terrible brew day. So I will say I didn't get it. The underutilization was not as much as I thought, and this did come out a little bit more bitter than I expected. What I have found though is that as you drink more of this and your palate gets used to that bitterness, the fruitiness of it wakes up. You get a lot of orange, you get a lot of tropical fruit flavors coming through, and you don't get much of a roasty quality. I did use Carafa 3. I used 8 ounces of Carafa 3 to get it to this color. The thing about Carafa 3 is that it is a dehusked malt, and when you have those roasted malts, all of that smoke, roastiness, that astringency that you get sometimes from roasted malts comes a lot from the husks. And by this being dehusked, you get all of the color attributes out of that, but you don't get as much of that upfront astringency and roastiness. I do get a little bit of it, but that is just the nature of the beast. But I don't. It does not taste stouty or anything. It's a nice little layer of flavor to it. The flaked oats does add to the mouthfeel. It is not like your usual black IPA. It's a little bit has a little bit more mouthfeel than that. But all in all, this is a pretty good beer. I have enjoyed drinking it. Wow, and look at the nice lacing on from the head there. Really good. But this beer really turned out well. I've enjoyed drinking it. I've had some friends over to try it, and they have enjoyed it as well. But like I said, the one thing I will change a little bit on this one is that bittering hop addition. So if you want to make this beer, go to AtlanticBrewSupply.com. They will have the recipe featured there. I will go ahead and adjust the bitterness so that when you get it, your beer will be spot on. But check it out, and I hope you enjoy it. Also, before we go, the proceeds from any recipe that I put online at Atlantic Brew Supply, or that will be in the shop in Atlantic Brew Supply, a portion of that proceeds will go to the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina. They do a great job of supporting the people in this community when it comes to natural disasters. So whether it be hurricanes, whether it be floods, they are always ready in a hurry to provide food for people who are in need. So if you want to do your part to help out people in the community, go get this recipe. A portion of your funds are going to be going to that. But until next time, keep mashing.